Hey there, everybody. It's your girl Barbie J here with the recap and review of Tyler Perry's comedy drama Sisters, Season 7, Episode 7. It's giving scandal. And it sure was. And let me tell y'all now, this episode, well, it gave me a little bit more than scandal. But I gotta tell y'all, this first scene with Gary and Tamara, let me tell you something. They flim flammed us with the previews and the trailers because that what they showed us in the preview and trailers did not happen. They made it look like he pushed away and Hayden came right around the corner, but he did not. So now I don't know what to think. But Gary sitting there saying he likes bad girls, and then when Tamara picks up the plates, takes him away, he gets alone with Hayden and tell him to pump his brakes and take it slow with this girl, you know, be careful. And he's like, I got you, but they're still talking about Andy. She's in the way. I've been busting my butt at the firm. And he's like, no, you need a big fish as an attorney, as a client, and blah, 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 so you could be seen. But after Gary and them leave and Penelope leave, Tamara has a chance to talk to Hayden. And she's like, do you really trust him? And then she's acting like he's not to be trusted. But then he's like, I don't want to talk about Gary no more. And they start kissing. And she's dreaming of or thinking of Gary kissing her and taking off her clothes instead of Hayden. So what is going on here with Tamara? Yeah, she a gold digger, but she know how to go to the big for the big gold, I guess. I don't know. Y'all let me know down in the comment section. Then we have it's Sabrina's birthday. She's out with Rich, and he gets her this beautiful charm bracelet. And next thing you know, her emotions change, and he's like, "What's going on?" And she's like, start talking about the baby and the child and the freezing and the eggs, and she was like, are you going to leave me? And he's like, it shouldn't stop you from freezing your eggs. Let's cross that bridge when it comes. All that stuff, the BS stuff. And she's like, no. And I said, thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Jesus. She said no. Because what would I tell my child? And I gave her kudos for that. And the funny part is, while they're in the middle of that conversation, the waiter comes up with the cake, the little cupcake with the candle. Something. We heard there's a birthday today, and I guess he was about to sing till he saw the energy had turned in that room, and he put it down and said, "Yeah, I'll just come back later," or something like that. And so she blows out the one candle, and they clink their little glasses together and toast. But I thought that was funny. So now we have Andy strutting into the office, and the receptionist stops and asks her, is she okay? And she's like, I'm fine. Then Hayden comes out and makes a little smart little snippet, and she's just like, whatever. He called her Olivia Pope because of this scandal that's coming out. So she goes on to her office, and in comes Fatima, letting her know what's going on. And Andy is in shock. She's surprised. She doesn't know what to do. Her tears are in her, welling up in her eyes, you could tell. So she told her it's all over the blogs and everywhere, and that she needs to stay off of them. Don't be looking on social media anywhere. And she's like, is it true? Does he show you any signs? She said, well, we've been dating for 4 months. Oh, you've been meeting the representative and all that time. This is all the time stuff Fatima telling her. And she said, I hate to be the bearer of even bad news. Everybody in the office knows about it. That's why I'm surprised you don't. She's like, I left my phone at home rushing out of Jordan's house. He wanted to talk about love and I couldn't do it. And so I left. And I was like, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. And so the scene quickly turns over to the hair salon. And I swear that's the same black dress Karen had on the other day when she was sitting there with her mother. But we only saw it from the top up. We really didn't see the whole dress. But I'm sure it's a different day, so it can't be the same dress. But anyway, she's telling Pam that this is a conflict of interest because you're busy selling your products when I'm hiring you to do work in my salon. She's like, well, your salon is empty right now. Ain't really nothing to do. So, and she's like, anyway, let's switch the topic. She said, and did you see about Andy's new boo? And she's like, what? And she said, I sent it to your DMs. And Karen's looking at it and saying, oh my God, about Jordan. So she's calling Andy, but Andy's not answering. So now y'all can imagine what I'm about to say about this airline scene. Because I'm not a fan of Tony at all. But Tony's going to rush up there to Danny at work Talking about, is this the only time I get to speak to you? I've been calling you nonstop. You're not returning my calls. And she's not saying anything. She's like, like, well, mind you, she got a line of like 5 people waiting to be helped. And he's blocking it for some personal ish. Are you kidding me? You couldn't wait until her line died down and she didn't have any customers in front of any passengers, I guess I should say. I mean, like, really? And he's talking about, you knew what it was when you signed up. She said, then unsubscribe me. I said, oh, snap. Take me off, unsubscribe me. Really? You're being really insensitive. My wife is in the military. She just got deployed. I just found out a few days ago. Then if you found out a few days ago, she should have found out a few days ago. That's the way relationships work. But she didn't find out. And I'm with Danny on that one. And he has the nerve to go, well, you knew what it was. Those are my kids and they're here to stay. She's like, you did not tell me that. Look how I found out. One of them telling me my titties, are they real? And he's like, but he's saying they're here to stay. And yes, that's great. But if you want me to stay, you need to inform me of things such as this. Realizing that our whole relationship is going to change for the summer and we won't be able to see each other and do the things we did together now. You know what I mean? Oh my God, he pissed me off. And then he's like telling her she's being insensitive, you being insensitive to her feelings, okay? And how she met your kids. And he's like, well, you knew how it was when you signed up. So either deal with it and move on. And she's like, okay. Meanwhile, he turns around and said, okay, go ahead. Welcome to Higher Airlines. I said, no, the hell he didn't. You stopped a line of people for some personal stuff. I have no respect for that. And I am so sorry for the rant, but y'all know how that made me feel. Y'all probably felt the same way as well. So now over at Brookhaven, we got Paige being a pain in the ASAP to Sabrina. She's watching her count her drawer and looking at her money and telling her the policies, and she has too much money in her drawer. And Sabrina's looking at her like, can I help you? What do you want? And she's like, I know how much I have in my drawer. Here, she's like, maybe you want to recount it. She said, you know what? Why don't you recount it? I have an important phone call. And she walked out and left Paige there. And Paige said, oh, that's fine because I'm used to rechecking your work. I said, what? Oh, Paige need to be smacked. But I looked at that outfit Paige had on. I don't know if that's a dress, a full dress, but I think that's kind of cute dress. If it's a dress all the way down, I really liked it. So anyway, Sabrina goes in the office, sits down, and she's talking to, I guess, a doctor at the fertility clinic, and she's finding out about IVF and what's entailed in the process, and they're doing a Zoom call. So Sabrina is a little anxious and she got a little bit of anxiety and she's not sure. And they're talking about you need embryos and not embryos and eggs would be best, And then she was going to need sperm and she's like, I'm with a partner who doesn't want kids. She's like, well, there's always a sperm bank. She said, yeah, I've been reading up on that as well. So that's where we are right now with Sabrina. And you know what? I feel sad for her because although she likes Rich, I feel she's wasting her time with him. And we could tell that. We could tell from the beginning, And so now we got my poor girl, Andrea Barnes is sitting in her office. She keeps reading up on it. I don't know what the fact that the underage girl is supposed to be a white girl. And, Fatima's like, yes, I saw that. And, you can't believe them sometimes. You know how they do us. And she right about that, y'all. But the thing is, oh, poor Andy, she's going toward the negative. She doesn't see that if in this game of politics, one person's scandal, somebody going to set you up with another scandal. People do it all the time, back and forth. You're an attorney. You should know this. You've been around. You don't even have to be an attorney. Regular common people are sitting there watching the news, and they know if one politician have a scandal, they're going to try to bring one on the other one to pull them down as well. That's what they do. And instead of her thinking and trying to consider it, what if it's true? And Fatima's like, what if it's not true? You know what? Why are you going towards it's true? Maybe it's not true. He said it's not true. Then he done call 20 times. She won't take his phone call. Then Zach shows up and he all loud, hey, where my baby at? Coming through the law firm. Since when Zach did that? Zach ain't never been loud coming through Fatima's law firm. Writers, don't change him to be ignorant and not pay attention. Don't do that to Zach. So anyway, Zach tells her he found her letter and he framed it for her. That was so nice. And he gave her the flowers and that was beautiful. And she's like, you want something. You gave flowers. And that's sad that when your man gives you flowers, the first thing you think is something's up. He did something wrong. He needs something from you. And that wasn't even the case. And I don't like that mind frame that they have us thinking like that. So anyway, he was like, I can't just bring my baby some flowers just because. And he was right with that. So anyway, he bought her the frame. He framed it. He's so proud of her. He said he'll be there with her late night. She said, you know, this is going to take up a lot of my time. He's like, I got you. I got you. I got you. Thank you, Jesus. That's what they have him doing. I am so glad because, you know, a lot of us were concerned that Zach wouldn't be there and wouldn't understand. But he does. And I am proud of him for those steps. And then as they are talking, Andy comes in there. And Andy's with the, I'm going to break up with Jordan now. I was like, look at that. She can't wait. She's tired of waiting. Why don't you just take his phone calls? You tired of waiting for what? It's only been 2 hours and you're losing your mind. You know, it's just, I don't know. I don't understand how they making her character, but I don't like that at all. Because when it was Gary, she had enough grace and patience with him, with all the drama he brought. Andy had so much grace and patience. Now what? So here she is, rushing out of the building in the parking lot. And Jordan jumps out his car and said, I've been trying to reach you all day. And she's like, so you show up at my job? I'm like, dude. That's why he had to do that. And he's bringing her the cell phone. She snatches it out of his hand. And I'm like, Andy, this is so way wrong. This is wrong. It's all about me, 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 me. Yes, you trying to make partner. But you ask him, is it true? Not even letting him talk. And he's like, hell no, it's not true. It's not true. I don't know that girl. I never met her. I don't understand. My PR people trying to spin this. What are they going to do? He don't know. He's not the PR people. They're trying to spin it. Andy, and all she keeps talking about, me, 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 me. You know, it's like, what happened to caring about somebody? But I guess that's the reason they have her not being able to say that she loves him. You know what I mean? But all she's concerned about is how embarrassing it is to her and that she's trying to make him partner. And like we know, that is important. But he says he's innocent. She should take him at his word and give him a little grace. So now at Higher Airlines, we have Danny going in to see Tony and, you know, expressing how she feels about what happened and what's going on. And she did, in a way, mention that, you know, include her in on these things, you know, so she knows in advance. Also, she let him know, I have never dated a man with kids, children. So she, you know, she doesn't know how to deal with it. When she committed to him, she committed to all of him, and that includes his children. So, you know, he needs to give her time because he's like, wow, that therapy is paying off. And I didn't like when he said that either. And she said, don't do that. Don't do that. I just had time to think about it first, you know. And this is new for her. If it's something she's not used to, he has to be more understanding. She said, and I like the fact that you're very involved with your kids and you love them and blah, 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 you know. So, you know, she said, I'm good with that. So I'm here. I'm going to be the best girlfriend I could be. And he said, maybe a stepmom. And she's like, you're going a little bit too far. It's baby steps, not big step, baby steps. And I said, she right about that. Then over at Brookhaven Bank, we have Karen coming in to see Sabrina because she needs her personal loan. She's drowning and stuff. And Sabrina asked her, did you have any problems getting in here from Paige? And she was like, no. Who, the white girl? She said, no, not really. She said she did ask me, was I a personal friend of hers? Why are you asking people walking in the bank? The door's right there. How do you have time to check who's coming in to see Sabrina? That is just so tacky and rude. So Karen tells her, well, when you get that job, you can fire her. She's like, if I get it. Well, then you need to check yourself and check Paige if you want to get that job, really. So she asks Karen for her, you know, driver's license to check and, you know, for the loan. And then they denied her. So she couldn't get it. She said, well, I'll figure out another way. And she goes, well, Andy gave me a check for my birthday. I'll give it to you. She said, oh, no, no, no. If Andy gave it to you for your birthday, you can't give it to me. She said, that's what we're supposed to do to help each other. No, it's not. That's not what we do. You go in your personal account and do something, but you don't take her the birthday gift somebody gave. You can't do that because that's insulting to the gift giver. She might have already given Karen money already. So, you know what I mean? But Karen's like, don't worry about it. We'll work it out. But she said, did you hear about Jordan? You know, that's what Sabrina asked her. And she said, yes, I tried calling Andy, but she didn't answer. But they don't know Andy didn't have a phone. So they decided maybe they should go over there and to the penthouse to meet up with Andy. And she was like, oh, that sounds like a good idea because I could use a girls' night out. Karen also did say that Pam has been slacking. Pam has been slacking a lot at the job. So, and she owes tens of thousands, Karen is saying. So she is going underwater. But she mentioned taxes are getting high. And I said, taxes? You are a renter. I'm confused as to how taxes are her concern since she's renting that space. You know what I mean? But hopefully we'll find out at some point. Anyway, so Karen leaves, and now Maurice calls Sabrina. There she go with the personal phone calls, and her front door is still open, and Paige is going to hear this. But they didn't talk long because then Maurice had a client ping in on his laptop, I guess, and he hung up, and as he's talking to the client, Grayson walks into his house. And I'm like, dude, I don't even care if his door was cracked. You knock on the door and go, knock, knock, hello. You don't just keep walking in and you see he's dealing with a client online and he's telling the client, Maurice is telling the client, no, I don't believe in love anymore. I don't want to get married or something like that he's saying to the client. And Grayson had flowers for him. And so he turns and sees Grayson and said, oh, I gotta go now. He telling people he gotta go. And Grayson's like, did you mean what you said just then? You seem sure about what you don't want. And he was like, it's a client. I'm telling clients what anything they want to hear. It's a client. And Grayson took offense the way I guess Maurice said it or whatever else. And he was like, you know what? Because he came to invite him to a jazz concert and surprise him. That's why he showed up early. So now he going to sit there and go, you know what? I'm going to take a rain check. Because Maurice is like, I'm going to get showered and get ready. And he's like, I'll take a rain check. Dude, you walked in my house, hearing me talking to a client, and now you taking offense. Bye. Bye, boy. You know, because ain't nobody got time for that. And Maurice is like, I don't even like jazz anyway. And he probably right about that. Anywho, we got Tamara sitting on the couch, and Hayden is telling her about Andy and that she's all screwed and, because of this whole scandal. And she's like, that's good for you. And then all of a sudden her phone rings and she answers and he says, I can't stop thinking about your lips. And I'm not talking about the ones on your face. And she's like, who's this? And he's like, you don't recognize my voice? Maybe you recognize my tongue. And she was like, how'd you get my number? And he's like, don't worry about that. When you effing Hayden tonight, think about my fat meat sliding inside of you. And I was like, oh my God. And she was like, oh my God herself. I know she was like, because she already was thinking about him herself. So when Hayden came down all cut up, y'all see Hayden's body, y'all? Hayden don't be having his shirt off enough. Homeboy is cut up. I think I saw a 6-pack, at least a 6-pack. Could have been 8. I would have to go back and watch again. But he asked her who she talking to, and she said it was spam. He's like, I hate spam. So do I. Anyway, Tamara must have got hot and bothered by what Gary said because she took off her panties and told him to come on. And he's like, oh, it's like that? And she said, yeah. And he was down for that. But now over at the penthouse, the girls are all sitting there and they start doing a little bit of talking about what's happening with Jordan. And, Andy doesn't want to hear it. And Danny's with are you going to stand by him? And then she's like, I don't know. I just need to think about it. And then Sabrina decided to change the subject and say, I got news. And Danny's like, oh, yeah, we know you're freezing your eggs. She said, and my embryos. And they're like, oh, and she said she's going to go to a sperm bank and, and Danny is like a killjoy almost. She's like killing what she wants to do. And she's with you could be having a crazy person's sperm and blah, 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 and genetics, this and that. And that. She said they vet them. They show us their baby pictures. They show them about them, whatever. So she was like, you know, it didn't look like she deterred Sabrina, but I didn't like everything that just she feel like she could just say out of her mouth and mess with people. You know what I mean? But Jordan keeps calling. They're like, why don't you hear him out? Karen said, why don't you hear him out? And she's like, well, you know, Fatima said the same thing earlier today. And Danny goes, see, y'all on the same page. Isn't that great? And they're like, that's too soon. Don't start, you know. Anyway, you know, so she goes to talk to him. You know, Andy decided to talk to him, and he's like, it's not true. I don't even know that girl. I even went to the precinct. The police believe me. She's like, the police? Did you have an attorney present? He said, no. For what? I don't know this girl. I'm telling you. Can we just talk about it? And I think Andy is being unsensitive. I mean, she's not understanding. You gonna try to break up with him? He said, I know you're not gonna sit here and break up with me under false allegations. She's like, I just need time to think. He said, why don't I come out over afterwards and we could talk? But she's just like, I don't think that's a good idea. And I'm sitting there going, Andy, what does Penelope think? Why don't you ask Penelope what she's thinking? She knows her brother. She's known if her brother's been messing with anybody. They're very close. But Andy's just thinking about Andy. And that's kind of messed up when you care about somebody and you leave them high and dry when they're going through some scandal. Somebody's lying on them. That hurts. It's very hurtful. So anyway, Karen left when the phone call happened. And then while she was talking to Jordan, Sabrina and Danny decided to leave as well. And Andy goes, I'm being rude to my guests. I have to go. They were already gone. And she hung up on Jordan. I was like, that's so messed up. And then the episode ends with Karen at nighttime showing up to Zach and Fatima's house to let Zach know that she has a DNA test for tomorrow at noon. And Zach said to her, you could have called me for that. No, I wanted to tell you in person. He said, so what's the procedure? Oh, just a little bit of saliva from you, but they're going to stick a needle all in my stomach to get to the amniotic sac and da-da-da. He said, oh, I didn't know. Don't act like you even care. Don't act like he didn't know, and maybe he does care. But she's like, and don't bring Fatima with you. And Fatima came around the corner, what's that? And she was like, he said, no. Zach trying to break it up. She said, no, I heard my name. And she's like, you the one been all up in his ear telling him none of your business. It is a business. She said, if I'm going to be his wife, it's my business. Oh, wife my ass. And all of this Karen's being real stankin'. And Zach said, I thought we had to understand. And remember you came and brought the clothes for Michael. Thought y'all had a little sister moment and everything was kumbaya. What's going on here? You know? And she's like, look, just don't be coming up to my appointment tomorrow and da-da-da-da-da. And she said, who gonna stop me? And they started going back and forth. Karen knows she was wrong, just coming up there like that. So as she's walking away, he's like, good night, Karen. She's like, don't bring no bitches. And she's like, I got your bitch. And Zach's like, don't worry about her. Don't worry about her. But I'm with Fatima. I'm gonna be right there. She can't tell you who could come. You gonna be there and you're gonna see what gets done and how it gets done. Bottom line. Because see, that's her doctor. You need to get it done at your doctor sometimes, or wait till the child is born. That's what I say. Anywho, that's how the episode ended. Y'all let me know what y'all thought about it down in the comment section, and I will see you all in the next video. Please do not forget to subscribe, like, comment, and share. It's your girl Barbie J saying peace.